going on, YouTube? Look here. Ordered a mini split, just showed up. I've got some solar panels at 410 watts each. Got two of these batteries, one there, one's over another table. And I don't know if you guys know what I'm about to do. I'm gonna try to turn a cargo trailer into an RV toy hauler. So let's get this thing unboxed and make sure it's all right, because FedEx is a joke. Got some damage on the box there, and I want to make sure nothing's busted up or whatever. Yeah, I hate FedEx. Right, so we're going to get this box opened up here. Start with the small one. Okay, we got us a little template. Oh, so we do have a little damage right here on the packing. So yeah, FedEx probably threw it. Look at I don't see any damage there, but the styrofoam's clearly busted here. Here's another piece. And I've got back here, instruction booklet, remote, batteries. Let's see. All right. Everything looks pretty good. There's the hanger. This thing is an Ace Cool. I don't know if I've mentioned that already. Little 9,000 BTU. And we're gonna try to run it off a solar 24 volt inverter, running two 12 volt, 460 amp batteries in series. I've got what will be 800 watts of solar, probably not enough. Won't know until I get this thing all set up. It doesn't pull a lot of amps here. So 0.4 amps on the fan. It's 115 volt, 9,000 BTUs. That's just on the air handler here. So we'll see what the condenser is gonna pull. All right, guys, here it is up on the counter. Here's the wire that was on in the bottom of the box. Now this is gonna have your power and communication. So there's your ground, there's your load, there's your neutral because it's a 110, 120, and that's your communication. So it looks like they gave you, I don't know, it's probably 15 maybe feet there, 20, probably 15. Energy guide here, it is a 23 SEER 2, so very high efficient, 9.0 on the heating. I don't know if I'm gonna be utilizing the heating or not. I might go with diesel heat, little diesel heater, kerosene. They're pretty simple. Now, when I was looking these up on Amazon and everywhere else, I was trying to find a cheap AC unit that wasn't complete garbage. Now, this one, here's the name, Ace Cool. I did a little search on the web and I found out that Ace Cool does a lot of appliances, rice cookers and blenders, that kind of crap. Now, the guy that supposedly started it used to work for Microsoft, I believe, like an engineer for Microsoft, but his little side hustle or hobby or whatever was wanting to make appliances more aesthetically pleasing. So this is probably a Chinese AC unit that he maybe designed the outer cover for, casing, to make it, a little more aesthetic pleasing. That's probably the case. I'm sure somewhere, yep, there it is, made in China. That's what I thought. So Yeah, it's just gonna be a Chinese rebranded type deal with his own maybe casing design. That's probably what it all boils down to. Now, there was only one review on this through Amazon, and I think it was the only Ace Cool post on Amazon that I could find. And his review was just a quick 5-star. It kind of looked legit, sort of, but I said, what the heck? There isn't much reviews out there. Let's give it a try. So, yeah, this cost me $500, guys. So, really economical mini split. And hopefully, once we get it up and running, it turns out to be a great little mini split. So we got 9,000 BTU, and that should be enough. Supposed to be able to do like 460 square feet or something, like 480. I don't remember exactly. And I'm going to be doing about 160 square feet. So this should do it, guys. I wanted a 12,000 BTU, but they were just more than I wanted to spend. The cheap ones, the reviews on them were just so mixed and crazy that I wasn't sure. So let me talk about the back side real quick with you. Let me flip it over. Okay, something else I want to talk about is your line sets. All right, guys, I've seen a lot of reviews of all the other mini splits out there. This one was $500. There's some that are a little cheaper, different brands, but I was kind of scared of the reviews because they were kind of mixed. They had that fish hook type reviews of the 5 stars down to the 1 star. It makes a little fish hook. They had that, but when I was going through the 1 stars and reading the 2 stars and stuff, there was a lot of people talking about how their system only ran for a week and then it quit. Wouldn't blow cold air anymore. Then they would say their heat and air guy came out and it's got a leak. Here's what I think happened. These are all installer errors, and they'll quote in there that they had it professionally installed. No, they didn't. They did it themselves because these are easy to do. Okay, guys? They are easy. If you got any kind of mechanical sense, they're really easy to do, but you got to know something about flare fittings. Pulling a vacuum on your line sets and stuff. There's a bunch of idiots out there saying you don't got to pull a vacuum on a line set on these mini splits. Yes, you do. Unless you buy that Mr. Cool or whatever, that high dollar one that has the recharged lines, and they've got some kind of valve in here in the ends that once they're connected, it releases your Freon into the system. You don't have to pull a vacuum on it because it's already sealed up. All right, these are just plastic caps that probably once I break them loose, I might hear a hiss, and that's going to be the nitrogen they filled them with just to keep the contaminants out for a little bit. If you can keep the contaminants out, you can pull a vacuum, 15 minutes. Get it down, you'll see that most of you will probably just use the gauges, and you'll see that negative bar of 30 on the gauges. Pull it down to that negative 30, peg the needle out, and then let it sit for 15 to 30 minutes. Let it sit, turn your valves off, then shut your compressor down. Let it sit for 15, 30 minutes. If it does not move off of that 30, you don't have a leak. Vacuum is a great way to test for leaks. If you can hold a vacuum at least 30 minutes, you're good to go, guys. Then you can do this yourself. Bugs the crap out of me is people spreading rumors that you don't have to do a vacuum and you just throw it together and turn it on. All right, guys, time to tear into the condenser box here. And you can see the damage right there, so hopefully it didn't get to the actual condenser. So package of parts here. Let's get this up on the counter over there and check it out. Here's our line set. Boy, that's some lightweight copper. I'm a plumber by trade. I know how to do heat and air too, but that 1/4 inch copper shouldn't be that light. I wonder what wall that copper is. Okay, before we do that, I wanted to get a good look at this thing, since this is the side that had all the damage on the box. To make sure we're good before I go too much further. I'm not seeing any. Okay, tore open the box. All right, this is probably a sleeve for where it goes through your wall. And it comes with these rolls of tape. Quite a bit of tape there. Well, that's probably to tape up some of our joints and maybe just wrap the whole line set and power cords all together. Make sure they stay together real well. There's some Armaflex. It's kind of warped there. That's probably what tape's for as well. Okay, we've got some little scutchings here. That one's busted. This stuff was on the side of where the damage on the box was, so this probably got nicked, but it's not gonna hurt anything really. I think we'll be fine. This one's in good shape. What else we got here? Ah, we got some of that putty.
Oh, okay. I need more clay.
Sorta. We got 2 bags of that. That's cool. We've got 2 tubes of that in the bag here. 2 tubes of condensate line. Probably don't want it exposed to sunlight. It'll probably get brittle and break on. This is our 1/4 inch line set. 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch, however you guys want to say it. Heat and air guys call it one size, plumbers call it another. This is what plumbers call 3/8, but one goes by the outside dimension, the other one goes by the inside. Let's look at the flares on these and see how well they did the flares. We might have to redo them, don't know, but we will check them out. I'm just gonna pop this out for a minute and then try to stuff it back in so we don't get too much contaminants in there. Let's see what our flare looks like. So the flare is actually not that bad. This is some thin wall stuff though. That should weigh more than that, so it's some thin wall. Some good Armaflex. It's not real cheesy. Normal what comes on most mini splits. Okay guys, I couldn't find any labeling on it, but I did mess with to see how hard it was to bend. And it's got some pretty good resistance, so it's probably M copper. Not easy to bend, so it's not some really cheesy copper. We're probably looking at M copper. L would be better. All right guys, we got it up here on this counter so we can get a good look at it. 9,000 BTU, 23 SEER 2, and 410. Oh, I love it. Okay, that's a good sign. I've seen a lot of other reviews on some other brands. They were using some oddball refrigerant you couldn't even hardly get in America yet. And if you could find it, it was extremely expensive. Maximum fuse, 25, okay. So you don't want to go over 25 amps with a fuse. Most 110 outlets are 15 and 20. Minimum of 16, so we'll probably go 20 amp fuse. Condenser fan motor runs 0.6 amps and the compressor runs 11.8 amps. extreme load at 11 amps. I won't see that often. Not seeing much. Wait a minute. FedEx, you bastards.
You bastards!
Oh my God, I hate FedEx. They don't care about nothing. They're a bunch of lazy dipshits. I've hated them for years. They are useless. I don't know how they stay in business. My UPS guy, he will call me. He will send me a text with a picture of the package and let me know he'll be in sometime today. Hopefully it's not an issue. I don't see that it got into the coil, so. Okay guys, we got it apart here. And from what I can tell, we have no damage. Right here is where the case is bent. We just have a little wrinkle in the fins here. We'll just use a fin comb on it and it'll take those out. When I was pulling apart, I noticed this. So that's why we got 11 amps. I was like, 11 amps, that's kind of high for 23 SEER. But that makes sense now. So in reality, we're probably only going to pull 6 to 7 amps. There's an ambient temperature sensor right here that's hanging off the side. So if in freezing weather, it's gonna run this to keep things from freezing, like freezing rain, that kind of stuff. You can run this in the wintertime because it makes heat. It's a heat pump. Well, I'll see if I can't knock this dent out since we didn't have no damage here, and I'm not gonna try to return it just because of some structural dents here. Compressor should be good. And they've got it wrapped in a blanket. That's awesome. I might finish tearing this down so you guys can get a good look at it. Guys, I try to knock most of the dent out. It's not caved in anymore, as you can see. It just got a little bit of a dent in it. Have a good look at this motor. Let's see if we can get it to focus on it. There it is. Okay guys, there's a little QR code if you want a little information. So, pulled this little blanket off. That thick little blanket, 1/4 inch thick. It's got some kind of rubber membrane in the center, so we'll kind of like carpet on each side. This was wrapped around the compressor, and then that's the top for it. So there was some thought gone on there. Our solder joints look good. This is our dryer. Solenoid valve here would be our expansion valve. Yep. Yeah. I put some thought into this part. 2 blankets. This one's another blanket wrapped around all this. So yeah, I would say so far I'm impressed. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. That one's a little strange looking. I might have to investigate that one a little more and make sure that one is actually sealed. I don't see any oil or anything. This is where your pre-charge is already at. So this will all be filled up with Freon and oil, and I don't see any oil all over that, so it's probably sealed. Okay, fellas, I didn't mean for this to turn into a tear down video, but let's look and see what this is. Actually, I think that's designed that way, the way they designed it. So our tubing goes down inside like a copper sleeve here, and that allowed them to be able to silk-floss this together. Here's a, oh, that's interesting. They used a piece of pipe as a stiffener between, to kind of stiffen this all up. So that's just a cut piece of tubing that they silk-flossed in there as a like a little stiffener to kind of keep down vibration. That's interesting. yeah, I like seeing that. I didn't mean for this to be a teardown video, but I guess it's gonna be a proper review if you want to get technical about it. I'll probably install it before I start actual work on the cargo trailer. That way I've got air conditioning inside and I ain't freaking sweating my balls off. Yeah, okay guys. Hopefully next time I see you, this will be installed.